Before we start, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that there is interpretation into the local languages. Therefore, I would ask you to speak slowly. I would also ask that when I finish speaking, you allow a few seconds before you start speaking, and I will do the same as well. Do you understand?
Okay.
Perhaps you can draw the mic a bit closer to you so you don't have to strain yourself. Perfect. So today I will ask you questions about your personal details, a bit of background information about your education and your military career. Then we will talk about the events surrounding November 11th, 1994. And then we will talk about your arrest and detention. Do you understand?
Yeah, ma'am.
So kindly state your full name for the record.
My name is Abdullah Jamanti Koyodabo.
Can you tell us when and where you were born?
I was born on June 21st, 1968 at Jara Pakaliba.
Can you tell us a bit about your education background? Where did you go to primary school, secondary school?
I did my primary school in Pakaliba Primary School. Then from there, I proceeded to Bansang Junior Secondary Technical School.
Do you recall the dates when you went to primary school and secondary school?
I went to primary school in 1978. Then I started my common entrance in 1985. Then proceeded to Bansang Secondary School from 85 to 1989.
After you completed Bansang Secondary School, what did you do next?
I did carpentry for almost 2 years. Then later, 1991, I joined in Gambian National Army.
You joined in 1991. Do you remember the date when you joined?
August 25th, 1991.
Do you recall which intake that was?
Intake 16.
So can you tell us a bit about your career in the military? Tell us a bit about the training you had as well as promotions that you had.
Well, after when we started August 21st, I was given that was our appointment date. Then after starting the training for almost 6 months. Then after 6 months into basic training, I was deployed to Delta Company at 1 Infantry Battalion, Yundum. Then from Delta Company, after 2 months, 2 months plus, then I was posted to the Army headquarters, where we attended a basic clerical course with the Nigerian training team. Then from there,
sorry to interrupt you. What was your rank at the time?
I was a private soldier.
Please continue.
Then after the completion of the clerical course, I was deployed to the GNA training school as the acting chief clerk. There I was until November 11, 1994, when I was arrested.
As acting clerk, who did you report to?
I reported to the AO, the administrative officer, that was Second Lieutenant Yankuba Toure.
Do you recall what year that was or around what period that was?
Yankuba was the administrative officer of the training school up to July 22nd, 1994.
Where was the training school based at that time?
The training school was at Farafeji.
And when you say Yankuba Toure, which Yankuba Toure are you referring to?
Yankuba Toure, the former minister of local governments under military junta.
At that time, what was his rank?
Yankuba was a second lieutenant.
So thereafter, the July 1994 coup took place. Were you reporting to a different person after the coup?
Yeah, it was after the coup, then that was the time when Peter Singate took over as the commandant training school. Then LF Jammeh was the administrative officer.
At the time that Peter Singate took over, where was the training school?
Training school was at Farafenni, but after some weeks, then we were moved to Fajara Barracks.
After, are you saying after a few weeks after the coup itself?
Yeah,
then it was moved to.
Yeah.
And when you refer to Peter Singate, what was his rank at the time?
Peter was a second lieutenant.
Did his rank change after the coup?
No.
You also mentioned LF Jammeh. What was his rank at the time?
LF Jammeh, before the July 22nd, he was a sergeant. But immediately after July 22nd takeover, he was promoted to the second lieutenant.
So if I understand correctly, you remained as acting clerk until the events of November 11, 1994.
Yeah.
And at that time, you were reporting to LF Jammeh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I would like us to move to the events of November 11th itself.
Yeah.
Prior to the events, were you aware that there was a coup in the making?
Not at all.
When was the first time that you heard about a coup plan?
It was after my arrest.
So let's take the events step by step. Can you tell us where you were on November 11th itself?
November 10th, I was at Fajara Barracks, the training school, when I was given an assignment by Peter Singate that I should type for him. And that LF Jammeh came with some notes that I have to type for him, which contains the agenda of the meetings that they were having with the senior NCOs and the military juntas.
Do you recall when on November 10th that Peter Singate and LF Jammeh gave you this assignment?
That was on the 10th around. Peter gave me an assignment well before 2 o'clock. But for LF Jammeh came after 3 to 4.
So let's start with the assignment that Peter gave you.
Yeah.
What exactly did he tell you?
No, that was the one Peter gave me. That was pertaining to the administrative works.
And thereafter, you received an assignment from LF Jammeh around 2 to 3.
Around 3 to 4, yeah.
2 to 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
What was the assignment that LF Jammeh gave you?
That was the agenda of the meetings that they were conducting with the juntas, members there.
So what exactly did he hand over to you?
Well, that was the welfare of the soldiers, like the promotions, accommodations, transports, and other logistics problems that the soldiers were lacking.
Based on the information that he gave you, could you, who were the participants in that meeting? Do you recall any specific names?
It was, what I know is the senior NCOs and the military juntas.
Please name them as well as their ranks to the extent that you recall.
No, I was not at the meetings, but when LF gave me that paper, when I came to return the paper to him, I just got maybe 5 meters away from them, then that's the time I stopped, and when he saw me, he get up and come and meet me. But there I saw Sana Sabali, Peter Singate, Edward Singate, Yankuba Ture, Sadibu Hydra were all present there.
And when you say there, where exactly are you referring to?
Fajara Barracks, just after the training school. Just at the other end of the parade ground, before entering training school.
So when you took these papers back to where LF Jame was, you saw all of these individuals?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What were they doing at that time?
No, they were just sitting, and they were on the meeting.
You mentioned senior NCOs.
Yeah.
Do you recall any of the NCOs who were also present at the meeting?
The senior NCOs that were at the meetings, I saw LF Jame was there. Sorijadama was there.
Can you tell us their ranks?
Sorijadama, he was a sergeant, but immediately after the July 22nd takeover, most of the sergeants, staff sergeants were promoted to second lieutenants.
So apart from those two, do you recall any other NCOs?
I can recall Otu Trawale,
Do you recall his first name?
Abu Trawale,
And when you say O2,
warrant officer class 2.
thank you. Please continue.
There I saw, Sajakal was there.
What is his name?
Anyway, I think it's Juve, something. I can't remember the name, but we call him Sajakal. That is commonly known. That also just call him Sajakal.
You said you recall that his name was Juf.
Yeah.
Does the name Alaji Juf sound correct to you?
I can't remember the exact name, but
Well, let's make sure we identify the right person. What was his role at the time?
Sajakal, one time he was an instructor, but later he was a platoon commander. At that time, he was a platoon commander, I believe.
What was his rank at that time?
Second lieutenant.
Do you recall any other senior NCOs who were present?
Now, this I can identify and recognize, but there were many, more than these numbers.
Do you recall if there were more than 10?
Yeah, there were more than 10.
Were they more than 20?
No, they were, together with the juntas, there could be more than 20.
Focusing on members of the junta, do you recall who else was with them?
No, for these people, I know them, and because Sana personally called me when I hand over the documents to LF, when I was about to go, Sana personally called me. Then I stood. I returned back to him and I complimented him. And he asked me, are you the one who signed the gate pass for AM Silla? I said, yes.
The gate pass of who?
AM Silla. Kedek AM Silla, the late Kedek AM Silla. Before November 11th, AM Silla applied to meet the chairman, APRC chairman.
And why would you be the one signing a gate pass for him to meet the AFPRC chairman?
I was the clerk responsible for that. Any soldier on the training school who is all the soldiers and officers, anyone who is leaving your working place officially, you have to come and apply a gate pass, and you will be given a gate pass to go. If you don't have the gate pass, if you go, we will mark you AWOL, that you are out of absence without excuse.
And when you say AM Silla, what do the letters of his name stand for?
Amadou Mbake Silla.
And it is your testimony that he was a cadet at the time?
Yeah, he was the cadet.
So you've told us that the meeting was between members of the junta,
Yeah.
and you've mentioned their names. You
Yeah.
also mentioned the names of certain senior NCOs.
Yeah.
At that time, did you see the members of the junta's entourage, meaning their escorts, their drivers, their orderlies?
Yeah, those in those days, they don't go anywhere without their guards. Wherever they go with their guards.
So who do you recall seeing from that group?
Those people were not at the meeting, but where the vehicle were parked, they were standing around the vehicles there.
So they were not part of the meeting?
None.
After you spoke to Lieutenant Sana Sabali, did you stay for the meeting or did you leave?
No. When he asked me, are you the one who gave this AMC the gate pass? I told him, yes, I'm the one who gave him the gate pass. He told me, okay, it's fine. This is how he get to the meeting place.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Did you stay at the meeting or did you leave?
No, I've gone back to the office.
Were you aware of how long that meeting lasted?
It lasted almost around after 7 o'clock in the evening. Because I left the office 8 o'clock.
And you said the meeting started in the afternoon. Do you recall when in the afternoon?
After that also, after 3 to 4 days.
And as far as you're aware, do you know the issues that were discussed at the meeting? Were you informed of the issues?
No, I was not informed what they were discussing, but only the agendas that was given to me. That comprises of the welfare of the soldiers. I saw on those lists, but on details, I was not on the meeting day.
So apart from welfare of the soldiers, did you see anything else on that agenda?
No, only welfare of the soldiers.
And you said you weren't aware of details, but was there any additional information about what specific issues in relation to their welfare that was at point?
In those days, with the soldiers' welfare was totally bad, I can say, because we don't have correct accommodations. We don't have, our salaries was very small. Transportation is always a problem for us. And these are the issues that every soldier was talking about. Because we used to say in Bandinka, meaning government has been changed, but nothing has been changed in the army. In fact, things were getting bad, worse than before.
When you say things were worse than before, what are you comparing to?
Comparing from the PPP time and the military time.
As a result of those views, do you know if the soldiers did anything in relation to that?
Can you repeat your question, ma?
As a result of the view that things were worse after the PPP government, do you know if the soldiers did anything to address those concerns, apart from the meeting you discussed?
Well, I was not aware of any.
So the meeting took place, and you said it ended around 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And you were still at the barracks until 8.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened after the meeting ended? What
It
do you recall?
After the meeting, LF Jammeh and Peter came and met me in the office. But when they entered the office, Peter and LF it seems to me that they feel something bad within themselves.
What do you mean by that?
Because Elef Jammeh was saying that, do you think we can accept this? He was saying that, Peter, do you think we can accept this? But Peter never replied. So there Peter get his briefcase, then out of the office, then he joined the vehicle to go out. So Elef also followed him, and I was left there alone.
So what happened after that?
It was after that I went to my house, relaxed, until around 11, 12, when I wake up. Then Elef Jammeh came and knocked my door. Are you ready? I said, yes, I'm fit to go now. Then he said, let's go.
Were you planning to go somewhere?
To attend the meetings that supposed to be held at Yundum Barracks at 2100 hours. You know, when they were having the meetings at Fajara Barracks, they ended without compromise. Then they later suspend the meeting. It says that the meeting is supposed to be held again at 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock at Yundum Barracks.
And how do you know this?
Through Elef Jammeh.
What was Mustafa Touré's rank?
Mustafa was also a private.
And who was what was his role at the time?
He was also a guard of Edward.
So both of these individuals, guards to Edward Sinyate, were hitting you. Can you tell us how they were hitting you? So just to be clear, you're pointing to the back of the right side of your body, right?
Yeah.
Apart from that, did you sustain any injuries, any other injuries?
No, these were the injuries that I was assessing.
So after they finished beating you, what happened next?
After finishing with me, they just grabbed my legs and my hands. They threw me inside the vehicle. There was a truck park. But before I was put in the vehicle, I had a group of soldiers were attacking someone, and the other groups were attacking another people. Like maybe it was in sections, 3 groups. And in those groups, I heard Dotfal's voice that you are trying to betray us, but Allah will betray you people.
How did you know that was Dotfal's voice?
Dotfal, I know I can hear, I can recognize his voice because I know him, he trained me. I know him personally. He trained me, and after training, we were working together at Farafenye Barracks. Then we were all later transferred to Fajara Barracks. I know him personally.
After Dotfal said that, did anyone respond to him? Did anyone say anything?
It was Sana who was responding to him.
Which Sana?
Sana Sabali, the former vice chairperson.
And what did Sana say to him?
Sana was telling him that you will know what I will do to you. This was Sana's word to him. You will know what I will do to you.
So you mentioned the people who were hitting you.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned that you heard Dotfal's voice, and you know that there were other people who were hitting other individuals.
Yeah.
Did you recognize any of the individuals who were hitting the others?
No, Sana always be with his guards. Edo be with his guards. Yankuba Toure also. They all go be in with their guards. But for Edward, where we were, it was where Peter Singata. You know, Peter was always beside his brother. Peter was together with the guards of this man, Edward.
I know this occurred at night,
Yeah.
but I'm still trying to understand who you could recognize at that time.
Well, I could recognize these people, But when we were all gathered at, when we maybe we'll come to that, when we reached mile 2, that was the time I started recognizing most of them.
So let's take it step by step. We're still at Yundum Barracks.
Yeah.
You heard Dotfal's voice.
Yeah.
You heard what he said.
Yeah.
And you heard Sanasabali's response.
Yeah.
Did anything else happen to Dotfal, as far as you know?
Well, Dotfal, what I know was he lost his jaw. His jaw was completely hit by these things, the butt of the gun. That here, even by seeing him, his mouth cannot even close. He just would, this was how he was. The jaw was completely out here.
And as far as you could tell at that time, you don't know who hit him?
No.
That's correct. Did you recognize anyone else apart from Dotfal in terms of the people who were hit by soldiers?
Lieutenant Basiru Baro was there, and Mafuji Sonko.
Let's take them step by step.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, as far as you could observe, what happened to Baro?
Okay, Basir also, his neck was broken because his head was tilted and until his neck was broken.
What was Baro's rank at the time?
Bara is a lieutenant.
So from what you could tell, his neck was injured.
Yeah.
Did you notice anything else on his body?
No.
Let's talk about, is it Mafoji?
Mafuji Sonko.
Can you tell us his rank?
Mafuji was a private.
What was his role at the time?
He was a driver.
Was he assigned to any particular
He
individual?
was a driver to Lieutenant Fal.
As in Lieutenant Dotfal.
Dotfal, yes.
Can you tell us what happened to Mafoji?
Anyway, Mafuji was also beaten because when we reached mile 2, he was crying.
But while you were still at Yundum Barracks, did you observe anything in relation to him in terms of injuries?
No,
Was he injured?
No.
So we've talked about what happened to you, what happened to Dotfal, what happened to Basiru Barrow, and what happened to Mafoji Sonko. Do you recall any other individual who was beaten while you were at Yundum Barracks?
Fafanyang also.
Do you recall his rank?
Fafanyang, I believe he was a couple.
Can you tell us what happened to Fafanyang?
Fafanyang was also beaten seriously and he sustained some injuries because you can see blood from his head.
At that time, could you tell who hit Fafanyang or what was done?
I cannot say that.
Okay. Apart from Fafanyang, do you recall any other individual who sustained, who was beaten actually?
No, these were the people who I can recognize at that time.
As far as you could tell, were there more individuals who were beaten, even if you can't recognize them?
Yeah, we were more than these numbers. But you know, some of them were former TSG personnel whom I don't know them.
I understand, again, this happened at night. When you say you were many, the people who were beaten, were you more than 10?
Yeah, we were more than 10.
Were you more than 15?
Maybe around 15, 20 that I can say, but we were more than 10.
So you've told us the injuries that you sustained. After that, what happened to you?
I was just parked inside the truck. We were there when we had Edward Singate calling the attention of the soldiers around us that he is coming, he is throwing grenade. Then that's the time Sana said, no, don't kill them like this. We'll kill them one by one for other soldiers to be a lesson for the other soldiers.
When you say that Edward wanted to throw a grenade and called the attention of the soldiers, what do you mean by that?
You know, you cannot just jump and throw the grenade in the public like that. You know, in military, you have to take cover. Like when he's himself, when he started throwing the grenade, he will lie down on the floor so that maybe when the grenade explodes, will go over them, so they will be safe. So this is why he was calling the attention of the soldiers.
What did he say to them?
Huh?
What did he say to the soldiers?
He was just saying that, stand by, I'm throwing grenade. So that time I do this inside the vehicle, I was looking at them like this. Then when Sana said, no, Sana hold his hand, said, no, don't do that. We'll kill them one by one for other soldiers to be a lesson for the other soldiers. Then that was the time Sana said, we stayed there for a while, then Sana said, no, these people will not come. Let's go for them. So this is the time the vehicles move, then we see ourselves to mile 2 remain wing.
Okay, let's focus on what you've just said. Do you recall for how long you stayed in the truck before it moved